The jobs report comes in stronger. The interest rates go up next. Yes, we're going to go over those few articles as well as what's happening with job openings, something that people haven't been talking about, and it's kind of remarkably stunning what's happening. All next on Real Estate Daily. Welcome, everyone. My name is Troy, and every day we go over the latest news in real estate, housing, and the mortgage markets. Now, before we jump in, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to give you the best 5 to 10 minutes on a daily basis in real estate and the mortgage market. Now, I know a lot of you out there are again, not vacationing, or actually relaxing. It's December. It's the first real solid week of it. You're doing some shopping, but a lot of you aren't shopping. Looks like we had a couple of big days, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then since then, we're seeing things tail off a little bit. We're going to see if they continue. Now, let's go jump into let's jump into it. This is from CNBC. Today's payroll numbers turned out really well. In fact, better than expected. U.S. payroll rose 199,000 in November. Unemployment rate falls to 3.7. Now, they expected 180,000. They got 20,000 more. And so that's what's really affected the bond market and other markets. Like, oh, wait, hold on. We thought that this would be worse than 180. And if it's worse than 180, then the Fed would absolutely have to sit down on December 13th and talk about maybe rate cuts in the first month or the first quarter. I think this actually just squishes that, and we're going to go over what the numbers are, but the percentages are about the rates being cut. But let's jump into these numbers, because I've been saying this for a while now. Who's the number one employer or number one or two employer of jobs in America on a month-to-month basis? It's the government. That doesn't make any sense. Here in California, we're in a deficit. We can't be hiring anybody. If anything, we've got to cut programs. You know, the federal government, they run a deficit. So what are they doing hiring people? I mean, they're stealing, money from Peter to pay Paul. It doesn't make any sense. Who's hiring people right now? Most government entities are shut down. And it doesn't make sense that we continue to show that the government is one of the top 2 employers in the United States. So let's jump into this. Says healthcare was and I'll move it up a little bit more. It's right here. Healthcare was the biggest growth industry, adding 77,000. I can understand that. That kind of makes sense. But other big gainers include the government at 50,000. That makes 0 sense. Okay. Manufacturing has plummeted at the biggest mark last month or in October, and it's been going down ever since. How are you adding jobs when we continue to see that we're manufacturing less and less in the United States? In fact, the biggest drop of ever was last month. Doesn't make any sense. I can't, and then you go into leisure and hospitality, 40,000. Guys, where are you hiring that? They've been laying people off. On hotels and restaurants and stuff like that. They've had less and less people show up. So I'm kind of confused about what we're seeing here after this. Look at the NASDAQ futures, man. It fell off the cliff when these numbers came out, right? They were down significantly. So, all right, but let's go look at what Prof St says. And this is he's on Twitter or X. And he says that the job numbers, and if you listen to what he has to say, he says job numbers are all BS, okay? They're all BS. And after a while, seeing that the government continues to be number 1 or number 2 in job creation is got to be BS. What, you're losing people and then people are coming into the government? No. Where are all the government jobs at? I don't get it. I don't see it on a month-to-month basis going up 50,000 every single month. That's the only thing keeping us from actually showing that we're at 5%, 5% on the unemployment rate, is that the government keeps kicking in 50, 70,000 people. And it doesn't, again, where? I like to know where, because a lot of states, all the blue states, New York, Illinois, they're all running deficits, major deficits. So they're not hiring anyone. In fact, they're laying people off in government jobs. So I don't know where this is at, and I just think that after a while, just like what Prof St says here, here's a repost of himself. The job numbers implode as job openings plunge 800,000 on the month. Guys, 800,000. This is job openings. Okay. That means, hey, we're hiring people. 800,000 plummeted. How are we getting more people into the market? And that's why I'm starting to call BS. He's calling BS. You know, a lot of people are calling BS at this point. We call GDP BS because the government's, you know, again, they say they hired all these people, yet, you know, GDP, if you don't hire anybody, which I don't think the government's been hiring anyone, you're hiring nobody. Well, then what? If you're hiring nobody, then GDP is negative. So it looks like it's just being propped up. You know, so let's go read this. Job numbers implode as job openings plunge 800,000 a month. Even the cheerleaders at Wall Street Journal think it's bad. This matters because jobs are the only statistic saving the economy from recession. If jobs go, it all goes. Guys, in less than 12 months, we have an election. Okay, that it's starting to become clear what they need to happen to get to win an election. And it's not, I mean, I continue to see the blitz from the media telling me that everything's good, the economy's better, but then I see everyone around me, they're struggling, right? Living month to month, don't have everything that they had years ago. It just isn't the same. And I think that there's enough people out there that are just tired of all the BS that's being propaganda that's being put out. So, but I digress. Let's go to the Cabesi letter. It says interest rates future shifted. This is, again, that was 8 hours ago. Peter St. Ong, 8 hours ago. This is 7 hours ago. Okay. It says adjusted interest rate futures shift from showing rate cuts beginning in March of 2024 to May of 2024. So they pushed it off. Prior to November jobs report, market saw a 60% chance of March. So let's go look at these. Let's go look at the futures here. Well, this is coming up next week. It really has. It's really going to stay where it's at, right? We're not going to go up. There's less than 2% going up, and it has 0% chance going down. Now, January 31st next year, that's where people thought, hey, it's getting closer and closer. There's a chance that we could be lowering rates at the end of January, but now that's completely changed. 92%, it looks like it's going to stay. That's the next 45 days, guys. This is 45, little 50 days away. Now we're looking at March 20th, and now they're saying, well, it's a 50-50 chance in March now. So basically, it's less than 1% going up. It's less than 3% having a 50% basis point cut, but it's basically a 50-50 chance we're going down. Now that's where it says May 1st, what do we have? Well, we have 50% chance of going down a half, 30% chance going down 25 basis points. Then a 50 basis points, you have a 30% chance, and a 75 basis point. So we're seeing that this is the month, and then we see from there on, you know, you look at, you know, a rate cut here, a rate cut. So they're showing 3 rate cuts, all back to back, May, June, and July. Cut, and then it says, oh, we'll stay steady, and then we'll cut at the very end of the year. So these are very interesting days, interesting charts to look at. Just 2 days ago, it was completely different. So this really goes by, you know, up to the minute information that's being pumped out. All right, so let's jump into the interest rates. Again, we're not seeing a whole lot here. Let me go move them over for you. 30-year conforming conventional, it's flat, 6.95 basically. We come over to FHA, went up 2 basis points to 6.82. You know, again, we kind of hit that bottom, and we're scraping on the bottom, and the 10-year just went up. Let's go move over the 10-year. The 10-year went up about 6 basis points. So I'm thinking that when we see this again on Monday, we're going to see a little bit of a push up. Now, that isn't a bad thing. I think that we had talked about it. We're going to go bounce off, go up, and then after we go up, probably up to 4.35-ish, maybe 4.40, then we're going to see it jump down. And I think that's when that starts heading somewhere in the first quarter of next year. We're going to be under 4. So, well, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. Have a fantastic weekend. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, you have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow.